Good Friday morning, and thanks for joining us on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Michelle Beck. New this morning, a man is dead and another is hurt after a shooting in downtown Minneapolis. Police say it happened near 14th and Nicollet in the Loring Park neighborhood. Investigators say they responded to the scene just after midnight after a ShotSpotter activation. Arriving officers found the two men who had been shot. Emergency crews rushed one of them to the hospital and tried to save the other's life, but he died on scene. Police are trying to figure out what led up to the shooting. No one has been arrested. Well, good news from the Hoffman family this morning. We're learning Senator John Hoffman's wife, Yvette, is now out of the hospital. Meanwhile, the state senator is listed in serious but stable condition. And in a new statement from the family, they say, quote, "We are grappling with the reality that we live in a world where public service carries such risks. As society, as a nation, as a community, we must work together to return to a level of civility that allows us to all live peacefully. We will be praying for that work and appreciate all those who will join with us." You can read the Hoffman's entire statement right now on KARE11.com. Developing this morning, new details on the shootings that injured the Hoffmans and killed Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband. Brooklyn Park Police now saying they found more than 50 guns in the accused shooter's Green Isle home. That's from a Q&A session with the Hortmans' neighbors. Brooklyn Park's deputy police chief saying even when law enforcement first got their eyes on Vance Belter in the countryside, he ran several times and snipers were spotting him with their scopes for half an hour. That's when Belter crawled through drainage ditches and finally a drone spotted him and almost landed on his head, a signal the run was over.
He was low crawling through drainage ditches. It was quite an effort to get away, but there was no chance for him to get away. Finally, we got a large drone overhead with a blinking red light that was able to essentially spot him, literally almost landed on his head, and he knew it was over. So he did give up and he walked out, and we put him in cuffs, and that was it. I had told everybody down there that we will call every police officer in the state of Minnesota that's working in a uniform. We will go arm to arm around this entire area, and we will not leave until he's in handcuffs.
There is another community event tonight. The cities of Brooklyn Park and Champlin say it's going to be a space for updates and healing. That starts at 5:30 at Champlin Park High School. Melissa Hortman left an unforgettable legacy on the state legislature. That includes a space just outside the Capitol building on the mall itself, where Hortman helped plant dozens of new trees in the past year as part of a redesign. When Hortman was House Speaker in 2023, she helped pass a spending bill that included money for the trees in the Capitol Mall project. There will be around 180 trees planted when the project is finished. Here you see State Representative Brad Tabke, who shared Hortman's love of horticulture. He calls all of these new trees Melissa trees.
There's an old adage that the best time to plant a tree was 50 years ago, and the second best time is today. And so this is what she is doing for all of us. And that we will.
Tabke said Hortman's goal was to have the whole Capitol Mall covered with trees for future generations to enjoy. He says he'll be working over the next few weeks to get even more planted. Developing now, we're following an alleged threat made to shoot people at the state capitol. The man accused will be in court this morning. Republican Representative Jim Nash reporting the texted threat to the House Sergeant, Arms, the State Patrol, and the Carver County Sheriff. According to two different sources, the man said he wanted to go to the Capitol and shoot people. One source said he wanted to shoot people in the face, though he did not name anyone specifically. Officials have not named the suspect. Even more safety measures are coming to Boom Island following the deadly shooting there earlier this month. Minneapolis Parks and Recreation will close the public parking lots at 9 p.m. Attendants will be assigned for events and picnics with permits till 10 p.m. A mobile camera is now installed, and additional park police will be there from 8 till midnight through Sunday night. We're also tracking another KARE 11 weather impact alert starting tomorrow for extreme heat. So if you want to get outside, there are plenty of ways to cool off, but there are some warnings in place at lakes across the metro. Our Dan Kennedy has everything you need to know.
Happy first day of summer from East Medicine Lake Park. The lake going to be a great place to cool off this weekend as temperatures reaching dangerous levels. But you might encounter beaches like this in Hennepin County. There's a handful of them that are closed because of unacceptable bacteria levels in the water. So swimming off the table for now here, though they may give the all clear in the coming days. It's especially important for parents and pet owners to know. Health officials say it's not safe for people or pets to wade in until testing improves. So if you're going outside, spending time with your little ones or dog this weekend, plan for those frequent breaks and water. Concrete and asphalt can heat up fast and burn paws, so sticking to the grass is a safer bet. Of course, don't leave pets in a hot car even for just a few minutes. And parents and kids, there are plenty of options when it comes to cooling off. You got splash pads, you got some public pools. You could also go to a rec center and have the kids burn off that energy without overheating. As you head outside this weekend, as we see these extreme heat levels, remember sunscreen, light clothes, and a water bottle can make all the difference. And again, happy first day of summer. Dan Kennedy, KARE 11 News.
Developing this morning, Canada is retaliating against some U.S. trade policies in about a month. The country will impose new tariff rate quotas on steel, a move that could make American-made steel less appealing to Canadian buyers. Right now, U.S. duties on Canadian steel and aluminum is at 50%, but the two nations are working on reaching a trade agreement in 30 days. A pause on the president's so-called reciprocal duties is set to end July 9th. Happening right now, a new deadline for President Trump to decide on whether to order a U.S. airstrike targeting Iran's nuclear program. The world is waiting for President Trump's critical decision. There is some division in the White House over how close Iran is to having a nuclear weapon. This comes as the two countries launch fresh airstrikes on each other, the latest attack in the city of Beersheba in the southern part of the country. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest details from Washington.
Hi there. Israel and Iran's new airstrikes back and forth overnight are highlighting the stakes in this moment as President Trump weighs whether the U.S. will join Israel getting directly involved in the escalating conflict. Upping the pressure for a diplomatic deal with Iran, President Trump setting a new timeline for his decision on whether the U.S. will strike nuclear targets inside Iran. The White House press secretary quoting the president.
Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks.
European diplomats meeting today with Iranian officials in Geneva, while inside the White House, President Trump is increasingly relying on a small group of advisors, including his vice president and secretary of state, to make his choice. That's according to two defense officials and a senior administration official, who also say Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has been sidelined. The president recently publicly dismissed her March testimony that the intelligence community did not believe Iranian leadership had authorized building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having it.
The White House asserting Iran has all it needs to make a bomb, and though the process would take time, President Trump is adamant that cannot happen.
Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. Too much devastation. And they'd use it. I believe they'd use it.
Only the U.S. has the bunker-busting bombs that could destroy a critical underground Iranian nuclear facility, though a decision to strike could provoke an attack on U.S. military bases in the Middle East and interrupt the global energy supply. President Trump has maintained he does not want to get into a prolonged conflict, while also making clear any targeting of U.S. troops would bring a forceful response. He's trying to walk a line between his support for Israel and his campaign promises to avoid foreign entanglements. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And right now we are learning an Edina man and his partner are stuck in Israel after traveling there for a wedding. That's because airports are closed due to those ballistic missile attacks by Iran. John Scholes says the relatives they are staying with have a bomb shelter in their basement, which he says they have to go to 1 to 3 times a night. They say they're alerted of incoming missiles through alerts on their phone that go out 15 minutes before potential impact.
Had a rocket hit here in the vicinity last night, actually. You could hear a distant explosion. At this point, we're in waiting mode. We're just watching and waiting.
If airports don't open soon, Skoll says they may drive to Amman, Jordan, and take a flight from there. Another option would be an evacuation cruise ship with the U.S. Embassy that would take Americans from Israel to Cyprus, where they could then fly back to America. Today, for the first time, we are hearing from a 9-year-old girl after she was bitten by a shark. That happened just over a week ago while snorkeling off Boca Grande Beach in Florida. Leah Lendl says she is most excited to play with her siblings again when she recovers, and that she's not afraid to get back in the water.
I didn't see anything. I was just snorkeling, then I went up to breathe, and then something hard bit me, and then and tried to take me away. Then I pick up my hand and it's all in blood. Then I start screaming with my mom, and then my dad was with me. He picked me up and we ran to the road.
And it is incredible that she is okay. Do stick with us. More news and weather are coming up after the break.